Today, we'll go surfing at one of Australia's most famous beaches. Every Easter, the world's best surfers go to Bells Beach for a World Championship surfing event. We'll meet some of these surfers and ask them why Bells is such a popular event. Try to listen for the different reasons they give as you watch today's story, Bells Surf.
Everyone wants that bell, you know, there's no trophy in surfing like the bell.
To have a bell in your house, basically, you know, would be a bit of icing on the cake.
I'd love another one, yeah. I want to stop someone else from getting one, you know.
Every year, the world's best come running. Bells, the beach as well as the contest, is a unique pit stop in the frenzied global safari that is modern surfing. A far cry from other World Championship Tour events on isolated reefs where only filmmakers can watch them ply the waves.
It's such a prestige contest to win because when you win, it feels like the whole crowd, you know, you hear the crowd, you know, it echoes out in the break.
Just a huge tradition in it. The list of surfers who've won this event, it reads like world champions, you know, it's really a elite field.
Bells Beach is great for a surfer just because of the surf, really. The waves are really good, it can get really quality.
But the waves, famed for their length and uniformity as they roll up from the bight, are just about the only things that haven't changed about the event. Its history has tracked alongside the growth of a town, the industry and surfing itself.
I can remember a final with Tom Carroll, I think it was in 1982. Beautiful weather, great surf. The headland was massed with people. You know, thousands of people had actually crawled around the base of the cliff there at Bells. And, you know, every time Tom got a wave, they were cheering, and every time I got a wave, they were cheering.
Mark Richards has to juggle 4 bells in his trophy room, more than anyone else. He remembers the time before sponsorship and prize money feathered a young dude's nest.
Well, I think the most I earned in a year was somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000.
No one knows for sure, but nowadays the top few dozen guys would earn in the high 6 figures. While Richard says the hunger is still there for the beginners, it might not be the same for everyone.
I think for some of the elite guys, you know, from what we understand, they're paid some, you know, fairly ridiculous amounts of money. And I guess unless they were on an incentive-based contract, depending on how well they did in the events, there really wouldn't be a lot of hunger to do well.
For the younger crowd too, there are warnings about the pressure of big-time surfing.
I do get a little worried about kids, you know, being maybe burnt out by the time they're 18. And I've seen it happen to kids before I came along too, you know. There's been a few really good young Aussie surfers who by the time they were 18, 20 years old were they're finished, you know, because a lot of that seems like it's a kid who gets a lot early and doesn't know how to deal with it, you know, mentally and emotionally and stuff. That can definitely hurt. So I think the sponsors have an obligation to try and be wary of that.
It's a danger in any sport, but I think that's life. But, you know, how can you get burnt out surfing great waves and getting paid to do it? You know, it's an ideal lifestyle, and it's most kids' dream to do that.
2-time World Pro Surfing champion Damien Hardman is now, as Bells contest director, overseeing little luxuries for competitors like one of the first hot tubs on the World Tour.
It's outstanding. This is the first time, and I've come here for 10 years. It's the first time I've ever had a hot tub at the event. But it's much needed, even though the weather's nice today. I think it's going to cool down by the weekend, so it'll be a bit of a battle in here.
But one of the founders of Australia's lucrative surfing industry says the fundamentals haven't changed.
I think there's no doubt that the surfers today are not quite as hungry as they were in the past. But as far as winning, like winning surfing events, I guess it's like other sports. You've got to have that intrinsic desire to win and that genuine drive. So that hasn't changed.
Doug Warbrick should know about drive. He was one of the pioneers who turned Torquay, once the proverbial sleepy summer resort, into a surf industry boomtown. Birthplace of 2 corporate giants, Rip Curl and Quicksilver, which along with Billabong have established Australia as the powerhouse of multi-million-dollar surf fashion sales.
As these companies have grown and evolved, what we've seen is that a whole lot of other surf companies have grown and evolved around them. So we have this whole critical mass of surfing companies here in Torquay, which is a major employer for not just this town but the region.
Now every move Rip Curl makes is big corporate news, and its reclusive co-founder keeps having to fend off expectations that it will float.
I think there'd be very little likelihood that we would float in the next 12 months. You asked me about that. I would think that's highly unlikely.
Instead, the company says to expect big sponsorship announcements in the coming days. So the global mythology and industry that started with this stretch of Victorian coastline will continue.
We have a certain sense of pride to see, particularly, where the surfing industry has, the point to which the surfing industry has arrived at. It's a remarkable journey because it just goes on and on.
Just like the search for the perfect wave.
So today's story comes from Bells Beach. Bells Beach is on the south coast of Victoria. It's been a very popular surf spot since the 1950s. People who go to Bells Beach often just call it Bells. Every Easter at Bells, there's a World Championship surf competition. The winner of this competition gets a trophy called the Bell. Surfers seem to love competing there. Why is the Bells Beach competition so popular?
Everyone wants that bell, there's no trophy in surfing like the bell.
Damien says there's no trophy in surfing like the Bell. The surfer who wins the Bells Beach competition gets a trophy, the Bell. It's a unique looking trophy. There's no other trophy that looks like it. But Damien also means that there's no other surfing competition like the one at Bells Beach. It's a very special competition. Listen again.
Everyone wants that bell, there's no trophy in surfing like the bell.
To have a bell in your house, basically, would be a bit of icing on the cake.
Joel says if you had a bell in your house, it would be the icing on the cake. The icing on the cake is something that makes a good thing even better. If you were a champion surfer, having a bell in your house would make life even better than it already was. Why else is Bells so popular?
It's such a prestige contest to win because when you win, it feels like the whole crowd, you hear the crowd, it echoes out in the break.
Bells Beach is great for a surfer just because of the surf. Really, the waves are really good. It can get really quality.
Joel says it's such a prestige contest to win. Here, prestige is an adjective describing something bringing respect and admiration. Bells is a prestige contest. It's a surfing contest that brings respect and admiration to its winner. He says you can hear the whole crowd echoing out on the beach. He means that the crowd is yelling and cheering for you while you surf, and you can hear it echoing or repeating off the beach. Andy says the competition is great because the waves are really good. You get quality waves. Let's hear more about the waves.
But the waves, famed for their length and uniformity as they roll up from the bight, are just about the only things that haven't changed about the event.
The Bells Beach waves are famed for their length and uniformity. Famed means the same as famous or well-known. Lots of people know about the Bells Beach waves. They're known for their length and uniformity. Length is a measure of how long something is. The waves at Bells are known for being long. And uniformity means regularity or consistency. Uniformity describes something that is uniform or always the same. The waves at Bells Beach are all the same. They're always long and always good. Listen again.
But the waves, famed for their length and uniformity as they roll up from the bight, are just about the only things that haven't changed about the event.
The waves roll up from the bight. The bight is the Great Australian Bight. That's the area on the south coast of Australia that bends inward like a bite's been taken out. Waves roll in from the bight all the way to Bells. And while lots of other things have changed about the competition, the great waves haven't. So the surfers love the Bells Beach competition for its prestige and because they like the waves. Good surfers can also earn a lot of money.
No one knows for sure, but nowadays the top few dozen guys would earn in the high six figures.
The top few dozen guys would earn in the high six figures. Six figures is a slang expression meaning between $100,000 and $999,999, any number that has 6 digits. Earning in the high six figures means earning close to $1 million. So being a great surfer is lots of fun and you can earn a lot of money as well.